so much for joining me today and welcome to today's live session. If you're here today, it means that you're very serious. Yes, you're very serious about growth, success, and making things happen. Now, I am Leonie Tusa. I'm a student success coach, and I'm on a mission to help secondary school students gain clarity, confidence, and build consistency. So you can win academically and personally. But here's what, I don't stop right there. I also work with parents because let's be very real about it. When parents and students team up, success is totally unstoppable. This is a space right here. This is a space about leveling up. It's a space about breaking limits and stepping into your full potential. So grab a notebook, have a pen. So let's get locked in and let's dive in because success starts right now. So let's go. Lovely. So today I am going to be sharing with you about success starts with you. Yes, success starts with you. And we're going to look at how you can take responsibility, for your future. All right, so that's what we're going to tune into. Remember, if you are joining me for the very first time, please feel free to say where you're coming from. I am Coach Leonie Tusa. I'm your student success coach. Now, let's dive into it. Now, many people blame others for their circumstances. All right. Many students may blame their teachers, their parents, or even luck. All right. Wherever they are in life. But the truth of the matter is, you have the power. Students, you have the power to shape your future. All right, you have the power to shape your future. And the thing is, we got to stop blaming our parents, our teachers, or anybody else, as a matter of fact, where your success is concerned. So in the comment, here's what I would love for you to do. Type I choose success. So let's get that going. Let's type I choose success. All right. If you are ready to take control of your life, let's type I choose success. Yes, because we are ready to choose success. It is important that you take responsibility. It's important for you to take responsibility for the change, and that changes everything. When you as a student take responsibility, when you take ownership for your success, that is very, very important. Yes, thank you so much for typing in the chat. I see Douglas is on. I see Chris Walker 1. Thank you so much. Yes, we choose success. Now, why taking responsibility changes everything now? In the first place, successful people, persons who have gone before us, persons who would have accomplished great things, they took, when they made their choices, they had their actions behind it. So successful people own their choices and actions. So it's quite important. It's quite important for you to really take control of it. Fixing your life. And I would always say, when we talk about fixing our life, we first have to identify, what do we want to have? What do we want at the end of the day? And then we start building a blueprint to work on it, because there are different aspects of our lives. And Chris, I saw you have a question there. So how do I fix my life? The thing is, based on your circumstances, we can meet and have a coaching session one-on-one. We could do a discovery call, where we could talk more on it, because we have to be specific in what requires fixing, and we take them one step at a time. All right, so you will not feel overwhelmed at all. All right, now blaming, and I'll continue, blaming others keeps you stuck in the same place. All right, blaming others keep you stuck in the same place. What does blaming someone else do for you? Does that change your circumstances? No. When you take responsibility You take back your power to change. And that is a process. When you say, okay, I did not do well at my examinations, why blame your teacher? Why blame your parents? The question you should be asking is, what were you doing? Sometimes that's the question we need to look at ourselves. We do need to look at ourselves when it comes to taking responsibility, taking ownership for some of the decisions that you would have made. Take responsibility for the decisions when you choose to do or not to do. All right? So let me ask you all this question. Have you ever blamed someone else for your situation? Comment yes if you have. If you have done this before. Have you ever blamed someone else? Let's be honest, because that's one of the first things we have to do. We got to be honest with ourselves. When it comes, yes, I've blamed, me too, I have blamed other person or made excuses in the past. That is something that some of us would have done in the past. But as we begin to mature and pay closer attention to our own, all right, and our own actions, we begin to say, oh, it really wasn't them. It was me. So the question is now, how do we take control of our success? How do we begin to do that? The first thing we got to do is to stop making excuses. We really have to stop making excuses. Instead of I can't, ask how can I? All right? Instead of saying that I can't do this and I can't do that. No, the thing is, we have to be solution oriented. How can I learn this? How can I move forward? This is the situation. So you're identifying your situation, and then you say, okay, how can I move forward? And then the other thing we can do, because listen, we can't control everybody else's habits, We can control ourselves. So what we want to do is to focus on what I can control. You focus on what you can control. Focus on what you can control. All right? Your attitude. You can control your attitude. You can control your effort. You can change your mindset. This is what you want to pay close attention to. Let's forget about the excuses. Let's forget about some of the friends that we have who are not really helping us move forward. We call them distractions. And in one of my previous sessions, I spoke about your circle, identifying your circles. All right. So focus on what you can control. You can control your attitude, your response, and how much work you put into the thing that you want to change. If you want to get better at mathematics, and I'm just drawing reference here, if you want to get better as an athlete, what do? You have to change your attitude. You have to put in the effort. It don't come just like that. You have to put in the work. All right? And in putting in the work, it means also that you have to commit to your personal growth. Success is a daily choice. Success, the activities that you do on a daily basis, and I want to draw reference to what's Hardy's name, the compound effect. If you keep not doing what you ought to be doing, you're going to reap the rewards of that. And if you keep working on yourself diligently over time, you are going to reap the effects of it. You are going to experience the compound effect. And I know sometimes, I believe in mathematics, you do compound interest, how it builds up over time. So my question to you is, what do you want to build over time? Do you want to build your resilience? Do you want to build up a stronger foundation for mathematics, for English, for social studies, for your own personal development? And let's even move away from the subject matter a little bit. Let's move away from the academic, but personally, What are you doing to enhance your knowledge besides the content of our subject areas? Are you reading any additional books? Are you paying attention to the news so that you have examples to draw reference from? Thank you so much for coming on Zenday. Charles, thank you so much for being here. What are you doing? And that's all on you. That's all on you. And the other thing is, I want us to pay close attention to. There are moments in each and every one of our lives where we would have fallen short. We would have had setbacks. Something did not work out in the way we expected it to, or we reacted in a way we never expected to, and it created a setback for us. What we want to do is to take this setback and look at it as a learning experience, a learning moment, because here's what, there is something to be learned from that setback. Do you agree? Can you learn something from your setback? And if so, what is it? And this is how we begin to take control of our success, take control of your success. 1, stop making excuses. 2, focus on what you can control. 3, turn setbacks into learning moments and commit personally. Commit to personal growth personally, because success is a daily choice. The habits that you get into is a daily activity, is not overnight. And we want to draw reference to, again, to a student who would have wanted to blame his teachers for the kind of grade they would have received. Let's go there. Let's blame our football coach because our coach, probably you think your coach didn't coach you well enough. Yeah? For the low grades or for the poor performance of the team. But here's what I want you to do. If you would ask more questions in class, or even whilst you're training, if you would ask more questions and gain that clarity. Yes, that's so true. Yes, it is. Yes, Douglas, it's a daily work. And yes, Kayla, yes, it's true. If you would ask more questions during class or after class, you would gain greater clarity of the subject matter. But you leave the classroom, let your teachers go under the impression that you understand everything that was taught. That's wrong, and that's on you. Yeah, that's on you. Ask questions. You got to ask questions whilst you're in class. And that is when you can act, when you actually start to take responsibility for your success. Yeah? Because if you didn't take responsibility, what do you think will happen? If you don't ask the question, then you're going to be all confused. Then Miss goes on, or Sir goes on, or whoever else who is teaching you something, they move on thinking that you understood. And what happens to you? We go to another level, and then you're totally lost because you don't have the foundation. Do you think they just put up blocks for a house just like that? No, you have to have a foundation. You must have a blueprint, so you got to put in the work. All right. So if you begin to ask more questions in class, if you begin to read a little more because you're taking responsibility, because you can focus on what you can control, you can focus, as I mentioned before, on your effort, on your attitude, and use that to enhance what you do. That's correct. Don't be afraid to ask questions at all in class, even if you think it's dumb. Because trust me, anytime you start to think that way, let me tell you this. Sometimes you ask a question in class, and trust me, there's always somebody else in class who wondering the same thing. So ask your question. All right? Ask questions. Because when you begin to ask those questions, I could try to answer some questions a little later, Chris. Right? If you ask questions, your results can improve. Type the question in the chat and I would look at it after. All right, type your questions. All right, so let's look at the daily habits. You don't know what you don't know. That is so true. Yeah. So daily habits. What are some of the daily habits of people who take responsibility? What are some of the things that people who take responsibility do? One of the first thing that you do is you set daily goals and you track your record. Now, some of us would write down the night before. Most times I write down the night before what I want to get done for the next day. So when I get up in the morning, I know exactly what I'm about for the day ahead. So some people, they set their goals and they track their progress. You can set your goals or your intention tonight for tomorrow or very early in the morning for the day. You can do that and you can track your progress. All right. The next thing you can do is stop waiting on permission to take action. This is your life. You don't have to wait for someone to ask you to set your goals or what do you want. You can start to identify what you want. And many times I know you would have identified some of the things that you want. Yeah? The next thing you want to do is to learn from your mistakes. Let's learn from our mistakes. Let's learn from the poor choices that we would have made because we did not have the best information most times to make a decision. All right? And after we've made that mistake, there's a line in a song that says, don't beat up. Don't beat up yourself because here's what, you want to learn from it. The important thing is, having made the mistake, having made the poor decision, it's not the end of the world. Get up, dust yourself off, and go again. Do you think Edison created the bulb in one go? No. Okay, any advice on what to do after letting go of a person? Oh, this one is a little tricky. I wouldn't go into details with that one. All right, because I am a life coach that deals with secondary school success, but we could talk about that afterwards. All right, we could always have that particular conversation after. All right, so I'll just remind some of us. Okay, so we are looking at that's an interesting question, Chris. That's a very interesting question. I do not have all. I can't make it would be a vague response, and I don't want to give a vague response. And a response given must be specific to your particular situation. All right, but let's go back a little to the daily habits of people who take responsibility. So some of the things you do, as I mentioned before, you learn from your mistakes. You stop waiting on permission. You get up and do what you need to do to the best of your ability. You ask for help. You set your goals the night before or the early in the morning when you get up. So you have a focus for the day. You have an agenda for the day, and then you track it down. All right, you track that progress as you go further. Now, what I want you to do, I want to challenge you. I'm giving you a challenge here. Write down one excuse you have made recently, and I want you to replace it with an action step. You don't have to type it in the chat, all right? But one of the things you'd want to do is to write down. Let me see if I could type this here for you. Let me see if I could type here for you. All right, let me just get it here for you. So we're going to have it there all the time. Write down one excuse you have made recently and replace it an action step. Replace it with an action step. What you're going to do? You made an excuse. Write it down. All right? And I'm seeing Douglas is saying, don't be afraid to fail. The thing about it is that we would have spoken about moving out of your comfort zone in one of my sessions. And when you move out of your comfort zone, because you know it's a new space you're heading into, you're going to fall at times. But the thing is, growth only comes on the other side of coming out of your comfort zone. Come out of your comfort zone, growth is there. Development is there. All right? So again, Write down one excuse you have made recently and replace it with an action step. And here's what I want you to remember, each and every one of you. I want you to remember your success is in your hands. No one else can do the work for you. Success is in your hands. Nobody else, students, nobody else can do the work for you. Nobody else can do the mathematics for you. Nobody else can do the English for you. You got to put in the work. No one else can run the race for you. You have to make the effort. And if you go through all the other lives I would have done, there's a challenge and there's a solution. You have some tips you can follow through on to help guide you through. And what is even more interesting and what I'm here for is basically, if you need a guidance and you are ready to move forward, you are ready to grow, you are ready to develop, you are ready to come out of your comfort zone, you are ready to have and create a better future, here's what. I want you to book a coaching call with me. I want you to book a coaching call with me. There's a link in the description. If it's not there, I'm going to put it into the chat as well. There is a link there. You can make sure and book a coaching session. Let's book a discovery call and let's see which one of the packages that I have was best suited for you. All right. So here's what I want you to do before we leave here this afternoon. And I want to say thank you for those of you who came in. And here's what. Feel free to drop a line right now saying which area you came from, which country you are in. Let me see where you are coming in from, and thank you for coming. Thank you so much for coming. I want you to comment one other thing in the chat for me. Yeah, there's a little typo there, but that's okay. Let me see if I can fix it. I'll perhaps fix it after. Okay, so let's go. Let me show you this. Here, what I want you to type in the chat for me. I am, put on the caps lock, I am in control. I'm in control. I want you to type that. If you are ready to take responsibility for your future, type I am in control if you are ready to take control of your future, because you are able to do it. You have the skills, you have the talent, and you have the ability. They just need to be reawakened. All right? What's your skills? Your skills just need to be reawakened. So go ahead and type it in. I am in control. I am in control. If you're ready to take responsibility for your future. So once again, I am Coach Leonie Tusa, your student success coach, and I am on a mission to help secondary school students build clarity, confidence, and consistency. All right, so that they can win in their life, so that they can win personally. And I just don't go there, as I mentioned before. I also work with parents as well, so that these children will be able to become unstoppable, because we know when parents and students come together, it is totally unstoppable. Success is going to become unstoppable. So once again, enjoy the rest of the time. Goodbye for now. Thanks for joining me. Bye.